Hey, welcome to episode 2 of the Collective Perspective podcast on a very special and mobile episode. Currently chilling in the car with the boy Tyler and the homie Chatham.
Yo,
I'm gonna put the phone in the middle so we can kind of hear. I'm wearing a seatbelt 100% because safety is the number one priority. And today we are finally got our license to be able to sell all around Massachusetts. So we are going to Boston and just gonna kind of get our toes wet a little bit and sell some like waters, like some ice cold waters on like a hot summer day, just to kind of get a little bit of experience. And I feel like that will definitely be very useful because it's just like getting started, and it's like no matter how it goes, it's still getting like the experience, and it will build on like the skills that will kind of like build on each other over time. And I think that's very important, just kind of like getting started and just like seeing how it goes, and like regardless of how it goes, even if you don't sell anything, which I know that we will, even if you don't, it doesn't even matter because you're putting yourself out there and you're setting yourself up for success in the long term. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like
yeah, I've never done it like that. But yeah, in order to get people to see you, you have to be out there to be seen. So you can't just sit and wait for something to happen or come to you. You gotta go out there and do something for something to happen.
Yeah, you gotta make it happen.
you gotta start somewhere, yeah.
Exactly. That applies with everything, like not even just like selling. That applies with like any skill that you want to make, because like especially in our times today, like everything that you need to really develop that skill is at your disposal on the internet. So it's like if you really put in like start, like wherever you are, like you're gonna start and you're gonna be fucking like you aren't gonna be that good at it when you first get started, but like the more you really focus on it and like stay committed to like learning the lessons of it, the more that you will really develop it over time.
Right.
And that really applies with everything, whether that's like design, if you want to become an artist, if you want to get better at selling, you want to build a business, like whatever you want to do, like even like promoting yourself like on the like social media.
And well, earlier Tyler and I were talking about taking action, and so this is something that requires taking action. We could sit around and talk about it all day and not do anything about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But instead we're going into the city on a nice day, and taking action in something that we have passion to do.
Exactly. And it's like you can watch like I said, like all the information's online, but you can spend all your day like just like looking at different information and trying to like devise a plan. And while that is important, like you definitely need to like getting a base understanding of a topic is definitely very useful. It's more beneficial just to fucking just like get started, fall down like multiple times, and like learn through experience, and then take like learn lessons on the internet, because then you can draw like connections between like some of the things that were causing you to fuck up and like that you wouldn't have actually picked up on if you had like zero experience.
Right.
Because like you could just like go out there and just make like either fuck up or like just make like shitty whatever it is, like it doesn't look that good at first, and then like then you learn the lessons and you hear some of the concepts of like how to make a good design, or the communicating with people, or whatever the skill might be, and then you'll kind of see like, oh, he's talking about this, like that's like an area that I was like lacking in, that's kind of why like it wasn't working out for me. Whereas like if you had no experience, you could be like, oh, that's cool, but you wouldn't really understand like the reasoning behind it of like why it's important.
Right. And there's a lot you can learn with the information from what you read and what you watch online or whatever. But there's also a lot to learn while doing the action of whatever it is that you choose.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned a lot from my job. I was watching people do what I was doing or was supposed to be doing, but I couldn't do it without actually doing it. I had to learn by putting my hands on the espresso machine. So regardless of what it is, you have to learn hands-on. And there is a lot to learn from hands-on learning.
Yeah, and like also like you can learn like stuff online, and it can be all good and dandy, but we're all different. So like what might work for one person might not work for you. Like your own individual way of like doing it. Like it might work 100% for them. Like they get the results because like they learned it from experience, and they learned how to authentically express their own way of doing it by starting by copying like other people that know how to do it, but then by doing the actual practice, they learned ways that are more suitable for the way that they learn and the way that they do things. And that's only learned from practice, because like you see like what works for you and like what doesn't.
Right. And I was last school year when I was substituting at Eastham Elementary. That's where I saw a lot of that, because there were kids that learned through listening, there were kids that learned through watching, and there were kids who learned through physical touch. And all of that is different different learning abilities. And some struggle with listening, some struggle with watching, and some struggle with the physical learning.
You just brought up a really good topic about like the education system that we can get into, and just to say, like, Tyler might not speak too much because he's driving right now. He's got to pay attention to what's important, but he might jump in every now and again. Definitely not right now because we're chilling on the motherfucking highway. I wouldn't. Okay, do you, G? Making cuts in this bitch. The cuts in the Camry cuts. I'm grateful that I am quote unquote wearing my seatbelt in the back seat right now.
The education system definitely does suck. It doesn't like it's like trying to put squares in fucking circle holes. Like you can't copy paste people and make them do all the same shit. We're all so different. I mean, we can always guide people, but like I feel like at the beginning it's just we give everyone such a basic understanding of what everything is, but it's not everything. Like everyone wants to learn something completely different from the next person, especially in their childhood too. And if you can like nurture those abilities in the childhood to grow towards something bigger in the future, instead of just cutting it off and like saying, no, you have to learn this, that, and that. You have to do it this way, that way, and that way. We can have a lot more creatively inclined people, or people that are more inclined to do hard labor or work, and they can be trained throughout their lifetime to do stuff like that. But like the education system just creates workers for the capitalistic industry, and it's been like that for more than 100 years, and that's how it was designed, to create workers for the industrial era. And it's smart, it works, it does create a working class of society, though. Like, you know, if you want to elevate your class and find a way to get better and like maybe change something more about society or do something, it's like you gotta realize that can't hold you down in a certain aspect of life, and the way you view the world around you, and the way you make your money, the way you view authority, the way you view your power as an individual, the way you see your creative potential as a human, because it can really like sap all that away, and it can make you think that maybe you're not as much as you think. And then the grading system as well, it's like, why are we being graded like that, like meat? And I understand that, like, you know, there has to be some sort of way to say you did a good job or you did a bad job, but it's just memorization and then putting it on a piece of paper, and then you forget about it the next year because you have to learn something different and stuff in your head. There's no like actual application of the knowledge that we're learning. It's just memorize something, pass a test, move on. And until you go to college, then there will be application. But sometimes people can't even get a job right out of college because they don't have experience in their field. They need to go get experience, so they have to go get like an internship, and they don't even get paid for like another fucking couple more years. And it's like experience is so much more valued over merit, over the idea that you can you pass a class for it. If you have like 10 years of experience in a field but you don't have a college degree, you're more likely going to get hired for a job like that because you have the experience, and rather than someone who just got out of college with a degree because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, they just learned everything on a piece of paper. The person that has the experience like literally went out there and fucking did it, and did it over and over and over again, and they're probably really good at it just because the amount of experience that they have. But like some people, like, I mean, education is so important. Like, you need to be educated in this life. You gotta know how to learn. You get like how to read, write, how to speak language, like how to, because with the society we have today, it's like almost impossible to navigate it without the basic, simple human skills. Like, don't like math, reading, writing should be basic human skills at this point. Like, and in some places it's not. Like, some people don't even know how to read. Some people don't know how to do arithmetic. Some people don't know how to speak their language completely. They like know like a watered down or like just a simpler version of their language, right? Even in America, bro, there's people out there that don't know how to fucking read, bro. Like, and it just goes to show like how flawed the system really is, and how like it doesn't nurture every single person and their different abilities and what they can be made for. It's just like there's a group of people out there that fit the majority and can go through that system, but it leaves behind everybody else.
Right.
Or people can break through it and be better than it, but it's up to that person to be better than it. It's a very weird thing. I mean, if you think about society in the way it is today, like, we do need workers, we do need people who like work at McDonald's, fucking work at Stop and Shop, work at work at CVS, work like all
like
these
robots. Like, eventually, like, that won't even really be necessary. So it frees up all that time to like be able to innovate and authentically express ourselves and create.
We can spark potential in a lot of human beings to do something greater than bagging groceries.
Yeah.
Well, I went to like a month of college because I wanted to be a teacher, because I wanted to make a change in the educational system, but I suck at school and I didn't want to continue with that. And the way they were teaching, not even just in college but in high school, I barely passed all of that because of the way they taught. You know,
This sucks, man.
and they need more educational support in schools.
And there's also like the amount of like negative influence on children too. Not even just in school but outside of school.
Yeah, and culture as well.
Yeah, like the culture that like the alcoholic culture, the abuse culture, the domestic violence culture that's in our society, bro.
Yeah.
It's like it really can fuck a child up when it comes to educating them. And like we don't teach our kids how to like take care of themselves. We just teach them shit about the
mentally
past.
and emotionally.
Yeah, we don't teach kids how to self-regulate.
Barely even physically.
Yeah, bro, and there's so many fights in certain schools, bro. Like people get fucking crazy, bro, because we don't know how to like
cope with the pain of like going through certain experiences, and like how to better yourself and how to actually heal yourself rather than just avoiding and repressing and coping.
And then that leads to our
Abuse
prison
culture,
system. Our
privatization and making money off of the reoffenders that have basically no other way of actually making money because they're basically stuck.
Yeah. It's kind of gross, bro.
Revolving door.
It's a shitty kind of system, bro. But it's made that way. It's made to create those types of people. It's made to do that, and it's not made to help people. It's made to make money off of us.
there's more emphasis on monetary value than the value of life sometimes, like the value of human life, and that's so much more. That's priceless. And like certain corporations just treat people like money, and like how do we build a society based off of valuing humans, like all humans, and like that applies with the education system, because like that's what really shapes the minds of the future generations, that allows them to understand and perceive the world. And like what is taught in school and the way that they're taught influences the way that they see the world and they see themselves. Like they feel like they need to get like a pat on the back from other people to be worthy, to have value, when they're inherently valuable in themselves. And like that shapes their view of themselves and what they think they're actually capable of becoming, and like what they believe in, it will create their reality. And also like valuing humans, even like the criminals, like we shouldn't be treating people like fucking animals. Like even if they do fucked up shit, like they should get punished for it, but they shouldn't be treated like fucking animals. Like yeah, they should be
opportunity.
Exactly, they should be trying to treat them and understand them rather than throwing them into cages where they'll have no opportunity to ever. Exactly, because the root never gets solved.
It actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because there are people that go to jail and they already have problems, and they went to jail because of their mental illness,
and then they're surrounded by other people with problems, and it only makes it worse. And like there's like prisons that are like horrible,
or they get trapped more in their own head, and they're just like their mental illness just grows beyond scale, and like maybe they even turn schizophrenic when they're in jail, bro. Like, and it's like you can avoid that. You can snip that stuff in the bud and like give people treatment, help people go through that process of healing, rather, and like not through drugs, bro, but through like holistic healing, actual like real like. And it's still something that I'm learning, because I don't know for everything.
There's always room for improvement. That's why
Western medicine doesn't heal; it just cures, and it's another part of the capitalistic
cycle is giving temporary fixes that don't actually solve the root problem, like antidepressants and benzos and alcohol. Even I love cannabis, but even cannabis can be used as an avoidance of the problems in your life. Like anything, like everything can be used. Like even not even drugs, food can also be used as an avoidance of your problems. And entertainment like television and YouTube can be an avoidance of yourself. And like all of the different things that we have in our society can be used as a way of escaping ourselves instead of actually facing ourselves and like solving the root problems of our unhappiness. And like that's what I think is really crucial if we want to better not only ourselves but society as a whole, because we're the society, a collective perspective. That's the podcast. Making some ties with it. That is built off the individual, and it's a sum of all of our individual levels of consciousness. So if the majority is stuck in this capitalistic external validation and perpetual cycle of avoidance and chasing and all that, that's what we will be. And like the more that we avoid like the parts of ourselves that we don't want to address, the more that those things will persist in ourselves. And like 100%, like sometimes like facing the things like is really painful, but it's like it's less painful if you face it than letting it like fester and rot.
At a certain point, your reality just will not let it go out of your face. Like even if the things that you use to distract yourself will bring up the reality, like it will just show you yourself right in front of you, like a mirror or a reflection. Like
me with alcohol. Me with alcohol.
It's like it can any single thing is still your reality. It's just you might use it to escape for a second, but it's still gonna show up right in your face like a mirror, bro. And it's like just gonna be there.
Yeah, it will always come back until you solve the root problem of it and really connect with yourself on a deeper level. And by connecting with yourself on a deeper level, you can begin to shift these things because the power is already within you and the answers are within you. They're just buried under a lot of unconsciousness and unconscious patterns of history, or taught and conditioned behaviors and reactions to things.
I'm so glad that I get to drive now, because like I can choose whenever I want to go take a piss, bro. I don't have to feel guilty about it, bro. I remember like when I was going on road trips with my family, I would always just be like, I had to go pee, but I would wait for like an hour. Because like I felt guilty about saying I had to go pee, but then like by the time I had to go, I would just be like fucking almost shitting my pants. Fuck, this is a lot better.
True freedom. Freedom to piss.
Bro, that's the squad.
Yeah, the squad. Oh shit. Those like BMX bikes. They got fucking motorcycles. They got you got everything. They got like fucking mopeds and shit too.
I also do in fact have to run inside.
Alright. What are we at right now? We are at 21 minutes.
It's been what?
21 minutes. 21.
Well, we definitely have more to say.
Definitely. I'll chill in the car while y'all do that. Yeah, I mean, there could be so much said, like, especially with the education system, like, that's something that I think is extremely important, because I feel like while there are certain base requirements that are necessary in order to flourish, like certain things should be required, like language and like base levels of math and like other things like that. Past a certain point, I feel like it should be the child's choice of what they choose to pursue, and like allowing them to experience a broad amount of different topics that they can experiment with to see what is their best, what best suits them. And also on top of that, also having a focus on other important things other than just like pointless shit that doesn't matter. Like, oh yeah, the fucking, it's good to know about the presidents in history, but like I feel like a more of an understanding on like why, so we don't repeat the same thing. But also at the same time, I feel like there should be like a focus on other skills that are like important in life, like meditation and like the ability to understand yourself and like self-reflect, and also like building like emotional intelligence, like financial intelligence, like mental intelligence. Yeah. So that's yeah. And, like,
I'm still learning how to save and budget financially to be stable. I mean, I wasn't taught any of that.
Yeah, no, they don't. They teach shit that don't even matter. Like, no. I mean, history is important. Like I said, like history is important, but it's like, yeah, but not the facts. Like,
of history though. Like,
yeah, like you don't know.
Every country's history is biased, so their history.
Yeah. So like that is very true. Like history, you don't even really know none any of this shit. Like if it was true and how biased it actually is. Like they teach this shit as fact and not as a perspective.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Can you say that again?
They teach that shit as a fact and not a perspective.
Not a perspective. And history is really only important to an extent.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like they should...
It's almost like a propaganda of sorts. Like
yeah, it is.
Nationalism
of
people.
Yeah.
I mean, which is like, it's good for a strong country.
Yeah, definitely. But it's also like,
it's not
it's important.
The whole history of everything.
Yeah. And I feel like rather than, while the country is important, I feel like we should be more focused on like humanity as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, not just like, oh, my country's better than your country or some shit like that. Like, that shit's fucking stupid, bro. We're all fucking humans. We're all in this shit together.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck does that shit matter?
The one thing I learned in life too is to stop fucking competing.
Yeah.
It's not a competition. You don't gotta one up nobody. You don't gotta, You don't gotta say your pain's worse or your struggle was worse. We all struggle. And
we all struggle, bro.
We're here before us. Went through the same shit or worse than what we went through. Exactly. Or going through, you know?
Like, you should be grateful for the things you have, because like even like 100 years ago, like people didn't have any of this shit, bro. Like, people starved to death, people worked to death. Like, you weren't being paid like barely enough for the labor. Like, you had to work. Like, you were born into where you were, and there was no way of changing that, pretty much. Like, that was like a couple hundred years ago.
I mean, that's still prevalent today. If you think about it.
And other places in the world, and also even in this own country to a certain extent. But how do we like allocate it so it's like we're collaborating rather than a few people just trying to get all the fucking toys and this shit? Like, having everyone's needs met so that they can go higher up in the actualization pyramid, so that they can focus on like things that are higher up. And that's like different for every country, because like there's certain areas of the world that are like a lot lower down in the pyramid. Like, there's places where there isn't access to like clean water and food, and the things that are necessary in those countries is a lot different than what's necessary for our country for bringing it together.
Right.
Because like in this country there is a lot of division. Like, bro, like Republicans, Democrats, bro, they're all the same shit, bro. It's all just trying to divide us. It's all just trying to divide us. It's like, it's a whole ass distraction, bro. It's distracting us from what's really important, from us coming together as a whole country. But at the same time, like, with a country of like 100 million people, with everyone with different perspectives on reality, with different life experiences, with different wants, needs, and desires, how do you
that's what creates that division.
Yeah, how do you create something that serves all of them? Like, how would you do that? Because like, what is they're doing right now is they're doing things that try to either promote their own self-agenda or a self-agenda of mass, and that will always be divisive, because it's like, how do you, that people, there's like such a wide range. Like, how would you really implement something like that? Also goes back to like school systems, of how you would have a system that is fluid enough that would accommodate each person's individual needs, but also have enough structure that kind of isn't just like completely chaotic.
Right.
Like, having like a balance of like structure and fluidity.
Balance is hard though.
Yeah.
I've heard this of it. What it is, balance in general is very hard, and I'm still trying to find balance.
And that goes like on all levels. Like, that goes, and balance is very dynamic, and like both on the balance on the collective level is reflective of the balance that you have on your own personal level. And the more that you can find balance in your own life, the more that you can between like various different things. Like, there's a lot of different balances and harmonies that go in between various different aspects of life that really create what is a fulfilling life that I want to lead, and I know that I know you guys want to live, and most likely the majority of the people listening to this right now want to live. And the more that we focus on that on an individual level, I feel like that will be more focused on a collective level as well, because we as the individuals are what really create our society and our culture.
Right.
Because like, if enough of us come together and actively say what we're looking for, and we're actively bettering ourselves and like trying to understand ourselves at like a deeper level, and like understand like all of us at a deeper level, and that comes from like understanding yourself at a deeper level.
Right.
That will be reflected, because they can only control us if we're like ignorant.
Right.
Because if we're actively learning about culture and politics and ourself and society and inner beingness and like the spirituality and like how we create things, they'll get to a point where they can't control us, because we're creating our own reality. And since we're all connected, like the things that you do for yourself and to create for yourself get reflected in your external reality.
I think it's almost already happening right now.
It is happening.
We're all unaware of it at this point. Like,
Yeah.
It's unconsciously growing to this point where our society is changing to the point where like we're not letting these old rules take control of like our lives that we want to live, that we desire to live, that we desire to be. But it's like the rules are there for a reason though too, because they've been here for so long, and like, everything has worked so far, but like what is better? And I guess that's our purpose almost, like to figure out what is better for everyone, and like give everyone like the bare necessities. Because like everyone, like as a human, if you're alive, you shouldn't have to live in this in a like that type of suffering.
No.
You shouldn't have to be in a world of like not being able to eat every day, and not having a place to sleep, and not having a warm blanket and like something soft on to sleep on. Like, is that just like that? We can elevate that. Like that's like a bare necessity that everyone should be able to have.
I mean, we're all
so much, but it's also like when you got to think about like how many people can be on Earth. How
like sustainably.
How many of us can be here, and how much of it that we're doing is already just like naturally the way it should be, like unconsciously, because you know how like ants or just like any other animal just kind of like has its own like sort of population control,
like unconscious,
and when they're in the right environment at least, because like it starts like when we change something about the system,
when there's like a huge explosion of people, there will be a damn, that car's fucked up. Do you see that? Like there's a higher competition for resources, and then there will be more deaths. It happens with like animal populations as well, when there's like a thing of like limited resources.
And that goes into like survival of the fittest, bro. Like how much of what is happening because that's just how we are supposed to be, and how much of what is happening because like we have control over it. And we have like a certain, like we can give everyone the bare necessities. But like, I don't know.
We're already moving towards that. Like there's already been like, it will only speed up, because like especially with the rate of connection that we now have with like everyone on the entire planet, it's a lot easier to gain knowledge and understanding, and also build connections between people that would be able to create changes that are beneficial for a wide variety of people. Whereas before that, you basically only knew what you were taught, and there was no ability to really gain any information, because people weren't able to read at all. And there was no like free world information. I mean, unless you consider like maybe places in ancient Egypt and Rome, like Alexandria.
Didn't that get burned down?
Yeah, they got burned down.
But like, yeah, like we go through these phases of like massive growth and massive change. society, so it's only bound to happen. It's just a matter of time and action.
Yeah.
And people are scared of change.
Yeah, they are.
Which change is a good thing, which isn't talked about a whole lot. Which is why people are afraid of change.
Yeah. It's scary because you don't know what it's the unknown, so you don't know.
But it's almost exciting.
It is exciting.
New. It's like fuck. Like I'm so bored of all of this. Like the same.
Yo,
kind of thing.
you're drifting forward.
I know.
But like you just went through change. You just went from high school to college, and you just finished your first year.
Yeah.
But imagine like a huge paradigm shift. Like that's terrifying for a lot of people.
Yeah, that happens to me.
So used to the daily routine of this society, like what we do. But like if we could change the paradigm of like what we do, like the way we live, that would be a huge change.
Yes.
Absolutely, like it would be a different world, completely different world, bro. Completely different kind of life. Like,
I constantly want to change my daily routine though. Like
it's more like,
but not like changing your daily routine, but changing your entire paradigm of how you view everything.
Okay.
That's happened to me.
An entire reality shift.
Like
that's freaky as fuck.
It
is.
Scary.
It is at first, but then once you get past the fear, it's truly beautiful. It's truly beautiful. But in the beginning, like, you don't know what the fuck to expect, and if it feels like literally everything is falling apart in front of your eyes, like, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because you don't know what to expect, and like literally everything that you've learned up to this point just falls apart. Then it's like, then what? Then it's like you start from scratch.
Right.
But sometimes that's necessary because you were building on a flimsy foundation. So it needs to all fall apart in order for you to start from a more solid foundation. And that's kind of what happened with me, and I'm grateful for it, but it was definitely extremely painful. It was very painful, and it only resulted from like a completely, my world literally turning upside down. But it was 169% worth it.
Like on a collective scale, that would be.
If it all happened at once and everyone saw the truth for how reality actually was all at once, no build up, that would be chaos. Because they wouldn't know what the fuck to do. Like it's best if it happens in stages, because if it all happened at once, even for me, if I just went from the paradigm I had before of how the world worked, just to like snap my fingers, I see how it is now. Everything's all connected. Everything around us is all one thing, and we're all one thing. That would be like fucking terrifying. I wouldn't be able to handle that. It would be instant like overload. Like that wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be beneficial. It'd probably cause like a breakdown. It'd like literally cause a breakdown. But like
if you go
the small
right speed, it can cause breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It's such an enormous topic that like especially with the education system that we were given.
Yeah. Like realizing like how much is like not accurate, and like how much of that shit is like is propaganda. And like once you start drawing the connections and like actually seeing it for what it is, and like seeing things actually change when you do shit, it starts falling apart. But thankfully it doesn't all fall apart at once.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's like the entire world and city doesn't all collapse at once. It's like a building falls, and then another building falls, and then you start building another building, and then a house falls. Like what you think, like the house of like I'm trying to think of like an analogy, like what the fuck, like what was something that's like falling apart, like I wouldn't say that science in itself has fallen apart for me, but my view on it has significantly changed and has been integrated in a separate way. Like I don't think science in itself isn't accurate, but I feel like the the worldview that they try to present, that the world being is misguided. Like, they try to say, like, oh yeah, like, all this shit is just fucking random. Like, it's all just random. Like, we're just kind of here. Like, it's just random. But it's like, if even one thing was off by like a millionth of a billionth of a percent, like, none of this shit would be possible. Like, if the rules of physics were literally off by like a millionth of a billionth of a percent, like, none of this would be possible.
Right.
And then with like quantum physics, with like all that, like all the things that they're noticing about like many worlds theory and like all that kind of stuff, it calls into question about like, what are we? And what are we capable of if we live in an infinity and everything's happening at once, and like how it's possible to like shift your reality and shift your emotional state and shift your level of consciousness over time. And like, there's so many things that's possible that I feel that even I consider to be impossible at this time if we collectively come together at a certain point. Like, things that I don't even know that it is possible to be able to do. Right. That I feel like with future generations, if they actually understand like what the level, what consciousness truly is, and like what it is that we're like connected to, it could literally be like the golden age. And that all comes from the inside of like what you do and how you relate to yourself and like what you believe to be what reality is. Because I feel like we're all connected to the infinite, and we're all able to. Damn, that sucks. Good luck to that dude.
I pray for them, bro.
Yeah, so do I. So yeah.
10 above.
What do you say?
This one I'm going 10 above.
Oh, facts. We ain't going 100 right now. We're going basically the speed limit. Basically the speed limit.
It's what's like on the agreed upon speed limit.
Oh yeah. I feel like also with the way our culture puts all of these things on, I feel like they put so many limits on us where we feel like we're just like this insignificant little thing that can't do anything. That comes.
We are though.
We are and we aren't.
Yeah.
Because the choices that we make on a daily basis can make changes from the butterfly effect that you can't even comprehend. Like, even smiling at like a person can make their day. Like something that you think of like insignificant.
But if you think about like the grand scale of everything, like the infinity of the universe, like even like everything going on right now, right here.
Yeah, it is insignificant, but you're also.
But that's the power in it.
Yeah, it is insignificant and also infinitely significant because you're connected with what is everything. And there's levels that, because as a society, we're only operating on the surface level. We haven't even tapped into some of the infinite depths that we're capable of. And neither have I. I've only started tapping into some of it. And I see it. I literally fucking see it. And that's only like scratching the surface. And that's still because there's a lot of unconscious and subconscious limitations that have been ingrained in all of us by our parents, by our peers, by our society, by our teachers, by everyone that came before us. They put all of these limitations on us and put us into a box and say like, this is what possible, this is how the world works, this is what is, this is what isn't. When in reality, we're connected with the infinite. Like, that's what our imagination is. Our imagination is our connection with the infinite. And the more that we can learn to connect with ourselves on a deeper level and tap into the power within ourselves, the more that we can change ourselves. And since we're connected to all, we're connected to everything, we're connected to everyone around us, the more that these changes will affect everything else, and there will be a domino effect.
Right.
But that won't happen overnight, because if it did, that'd be kind of scary. It'd be kind of weird, bro. Like that'd be really fucking weird. Like you just wake up one day, everything's changed. Like you just like fucking snap a finger. It would be, but it'd be like, what the fuck?
I'd just be like, all right.
I'd be like, what the fuck?
At this point, I'd be like,
I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, bro, like some of this shit, like some of the things I've seen, like change in my reality, bro, I would not be surprised.
I'll be like,
About time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, bro.
about fucking time, bro.
About time.
For real.
But then it's like also like you think like everyone around us, like it's not just you, like everyone else is living their own life. They have their own perspectives on life. They have their own beliefs, their own experiences, their own fears, their own passions. Like they have all these different things, their own self-imposed and societally imposed limits on themselves of what they believe to be possible for them and for us as a collective. And like you can't make these changes all at once because we're all together. So it's like if you try to be like, you can't force your change on everyone else because they have their own free will and their own decision of what they want for themselves.
Right.
And I feel like that's you can't force your reality onto someone else. Like that's their own decision. And even if they are like, even if they're ignorant about this shit and they're making like fucked up mistakes and shit, and it's their responsibility to understand these things for themselves. Like it's not your job to be like taking like the moral high ground of being like, oh, what you're doing is wrong. You should be doing it this way because my way is the best way. Like that's religious. Like that's religious. Like that's basically what like churches have been doing. Like it's like, this is how you need to be living your life. Like these are the truth. This is the truth. Like saying that like the truth isn't what you consider isn't subjective.
The truth is yours.
Yeah, there's objective truth, but the objective truth is something that's so radical where it's like it's hard to even comprehend, even for me.
I don't even think you could
fully comprehend it, because there's an infinite amount of the absolute truth is the combination of all infinitely subjective perspectives. Exactly. It's impossible. It's impossible to explain it in words because it's an infinite combination of all of the different limited and finite explanations of it. And that's what's beautiful about it. And like once you start to understand these things, you can start to make decisions for yourself of how you want to live. So it's like even if there's people around you that are living differently, like they're lost in all the details and lost in all of the things and all of the chaos, you can still choose how you want to live. And by choosing how you want to live, which is most likely like you want to live in your peace, or you might not. Like you might want to just like fucking I don't even know. Like you might want to do whatever the fuck it is. Whatever the fuck it is, like that could be like completely different. It could be fucking just fucking shit up. But you got to deal with the consequences of your actions. Yeah, whatever that might be.
I'm gonna live in this world of like nice green and blue and yellow, like all the colors, and just like sit by a lake, just breathe.
Yeah.
Just be okay with that, bro. Life's pretty good.
Yeah. I love life the way it is, but at the same time, at the same time, like there's things that we could be doing differently, and that comes with infinity. Like there is no, this isn't like in business as well. Like it isn't like trying to beat the competitors. It's like it's trying to do it better.
There's always going to be contrast.
Exactly.
There's always going to be contrast. Like contrast will always exist. There's going to be a side of life where it's not going to be what you want.
Yeah.
Like, because with having what we want, we're gonna have what we don't want. With having the sun, we're gonna have the moon. With having good, we're gonna have bad. Like the contrast of life will always exist. It's just you have to acceptance of it is what makes life good and makes life almost bearable and more understanding of it, because you can't necessarily control all.
Yeah.
Like we are gods, but
you aren't God in its entirety.
We're just a part of it.
We're part of the whole, but we're also
Infinitely
whole in the part. It's a whole on. Well, it's if you wanna listen about hold-ons, check out actualize.org's video about hold-ons. It's a very interesting topic. It's basically talking about a hold-on is basically it's a part of a whole that's also whole in itself, and there's like different levels. So like so your arm is a part of your body, but it's also a whole in the fact that it's an entirety of an arm. And then a cell is a part of your arm, but it's also a whole cell. So it's both a part and a whole at the same time. And that goes for almost everything in life, including you and society, with cars, with systems in society.
It's the fractal.
Exactly, it's a fractal.
The golden spiral, the golden ratio.
Mm-hmm.
You see that everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we are. We're just a fractal. We're literally inside a fractal of infinity.
Yeah.
Completely zooms in and out.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah, but
It looks different from a different perspective.
definitely. And you can change your perspective. Like there's infinite different perspectives to choose from, so you can.
That's what we are. We're awareness of it. We're not human.
We are the awareness.
We are the awareness of it.
We aren't the emotions or the mind either, or our thoughts. We can choose our thoughts, and we can also choose our responses to whatever situations we are in.
That's why I'm happy to be here, because I'm here for something out of infinity, bro.
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it to the fullest I can do, bro.
Yeah.
To make this life the best I can make it.
Definitely.
Because I don't know if I could change everything.
I wouldn't want to change everything, because not everything needs to be changed. But yo, we're almost done with this episode with the.
This right there. It was a normal place.
Yeah.
I think that course.
Wait, was it a leg place?
Yeah.
But yo, at the end of this episode, I just want to. Damn, bro, you fucking. That was an aggressive term, my guy.
I didn't know you were slowing down, bro.
Oh, facts. But I'm just gonna say this, like, we're always learning. It's important to learn from others, but more important to learn from yourself and to inwardly reflect, because we're all unique and only you have the answers that are required for yourself in this current situation. So meditation is very important. Also, connecting with your heart and your gut is more important than thinking things through, in my experience, because at some level the answers that you need are already inside of you, and there's levels to it. Hey, shit. I'm putting on my seatbelt.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have my seatbelt on, but we don't have to talk about that. I'm putting on my seatbelt. Damn, he weaving. That motherfucker weaving, bro. Shit, yo, I'm gonna cut this like cutting traffic. That Beamer is mad far.
God, bro, what are you doing?
Shit. Yo, I'm gonna cut this off here. I hope y'all had an amazing. Shorty was like looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you to everyone. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Peace, love, positivity, and together we can prosper. Take care.